as English is not even our second language, it's like our fifth language. So
we had this language barrier, just three of us. So it was very hard because it was advanced English. So we had like to read a lot to understand those. He used to call them jargon. It was my first time to hear that word. So it was very hard to us to understand what we was reading in maybe article or anything else. And then we had to write a lot of papers. And it was hard to find words because with this language barrier, we tend to use the same vocabularies because we don't have much vocabularies to just mix, or I don't know. So we tend to, it's like we used to write like a very poor paper. So he was like, oh, you need to redo the work. And he was willing to help to free himself, like to get the free time for us to explain more.
Like in my field, there's a lot of words related to the field that they're not as easy to define in my own language. So it's either I will have to ask the teacher sometime to talk to me a lot about certain words because I don't understand most. I mean, I do understand a lot, but some words, that are related to certain fields, I mean, I'm not going to understand them until I learn them. And, that kind of stops me a lot most of
when, like, for example, when you drop the work, I'm going to put you an example, So when you drop the work, I go and read the thing, So sometimes I don't understand what you really want.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll probably ask Ali or somebody.
The formal language, whenever you're talking to a classmate or someone else, formally it's a little difficult than when talking, just regular speaking with the other, people from the, I don't mean street, like street. I mean, like outside language with formal language. There's a bit of difficulty there, I think.
Okay.
You know how there's how can I say it? Whenever in writing, whenever I'm writing, I got used to sometimes make the word shorter. You know how they have slang. For example, they just put the letter. I think Muhammad is coming with this as well. We got used to it to where sometimes we don't realize it. We just put this even during formal writing. We just put regular one word or something.
Right.
I think that kind of plays a role there as well.
When they let us using the translator and then give us the time for they asked to give us the enough time for doing the exams. Some friends who came to help us in the classes. It's the one of this said they give us enough space and then to integrate.
You guys not gonna do the homework for us. Yeah, that's right. So just two things I recommend. So just call the teacher and he explain the work for you. That's the second thing. And the first thing. The second thing is these people who help people in the college. What they call them?
Tutors.
Yeah, tutors. Yeah, I don't know if they help or yeah. So I would like them to help me. If they explain do this, do that. I would like to have one of them help me.
Academically, say that the first days, I remember my first class was with Mike. Yeah, so the first day, Mike, when he was talking, I was saying what is talking about? Because he was fast, and usually he's talking fast. So I say, oh my God, how will I succeed with this class the first days? But after 1 month or just 3 weeks, I started to understand, because usually I used to speak English at work. I used to work with people who came from English speaking countries, but from Africa. They have their own accent. So I could understand. I said to my video, so I watch cartoons just to be used of the American English. And I watch even movies. And when I get opportunity to talk to someone who is American, but I can say that is opportunity is not every day to get someone to speak to. Not support as it is, because everything I did on my own. So yeah, I fought it on my own. So I think the support I get was about materials, maybe, but if I talk about English, there is no support. Yeah, so I got support material from Bidolan. Used to lend me laptops, big screen, just about materials. Yeah, only that.
When we started classes, oh my God, it was real hard. But we had good teachers. Our first teachers was Steve and Juliet in English. So they were helpful. They tried to explain how we can do things. If we have questions, we can ask them, and we can use translate. So I think, yeah, that was the challenge we had, but little by little, here we are.
You know, we leave home, we come to school, we sit on our chair, we are focused just on studies, and after that we go home. So there is no opportunity of meeting other.
Social was to be afraid to talk with anyone without my siblings, because it kind of was like, what do you say? I doesn't hear you, I doesn't understand you, because my accent or my vocabulary was still poor. But step by step, I did get a little bit, and until right now, still working on it.
Teenagers, I can say that, teenagers, they're not willing to be patient for someone who's not, who doesn't speak English well. It's like, it's a burden to try to understand what you're saying, or because sometimes you can use some words that can be described as maybe an insult without even knowing it. So we'll just get our mouth shut and just keep quiet. I remember I was very silent in my class, and all of us were just not talking. And Steve,
I think if they can create a new program just for helping new language learners, like in speaking, writing, and listening, those three kind of things will help to understand, to speak, to listen. So I think it will be better to get a new program in helping them with those three things I say.
I think a good way of assimilating people into English, I think, is to make them involved in the community activities at school. Yeah, instead of just putting them in the class themselves, speaking broken English themselves, there is nothing they cannot improve. So I think the good way is to put them, just to mix them with the really Native Americans, just to speak with them. I think that way we will be helpful, I think.
we had a class to attend at Waterville High School. it was for English learners. We went there like for 2 hours, maybe 3 times a week. And yeah, it was for getting a GED, but we started like listening to the radio, explaining why you understand, why you didn't. It was like we really helped us to improve our English. So if it's possible, maybe to make that available at the campus.
I like the examples that you add. You always add an example of what the assignment should look like. For example, the excellent report you showed us, it's called excellent report, I think. Just looking at it, just observing how it's supposed to be, it gives me an idea. Maybe I'll take how the frame looks like, and I'll just make my own idea. But I think that really helps the student.
Teachers to help student, especially to understand the homeworks they do. Yeah. Because to Google a question is not to understand the question.
I remember I used to talk to Tony. She was my advisor at that time. And then after I started to talk with her, she was really helping me in a way that I couldn't even imagine before. So they know what you want, what your needs are, and then they know where to start in helping you in the process. So if they don't know,
I would like to see KVCC having the classes that are like just for speaking English, because we can learn and be successful in the classes. It doesn't mean we are confident to speak the language.
How can I say, like, the professor, if the student were somehow to talk to the professor before the semester even starts, to where they tell them how the semester is gonna go, I think that would help the student a little bit more.
My class, and all of us were just not talking, and Steve tried at his best to keep us engaging in class, asking questions, giving example, like African example, what we can understand, like forest or maybe poverty, so we can understand.